Nice.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
This is the Friends Like Us review of the podcast, which I'll start streaming on YouTube pretty soon because we have video now.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah, it just takes a lot. It takes a lot of time to edit those things.
Yeah.
But I'll be able to put them up on YouTube so that you can see it here. Why not?
That's great.
Why not? How you doing, Evelyn? How you doing on this cold Saturday morning in New York City?
I'm good. So I've been so excited to tell you this. A friend of mine is like in the process of moving to Germany, and so she's still working on paperwork for her cat to join her. But in the meantime, Sophie and I are looking after her cat. Her name is Mango. We don't. She's not in the. I'm in the bedroom currently, and we're not letting her in the bedroom at the moment. Just while we like get used to
That's
her
okay.
like fur and like allergens and stuff. But yeah,
Does she have
she's
a
really
box?
cute. Yeah, we have. It's so funny. She came with so many things. She has like a
Mhm.
tiny little bed,
Aw.
which actually my friend had got it like custom made, so it looks like her bed. So they have like little matching beds, and then her litter box like looks like a huge like plant. Yeah, and she has some scratching toys. So yeah, she's just kind of settling in. Last night we brought her home, or like brought her to our home kind of later, like around 9. So we just kind of like let her out of the carrier and let her explore, and just kind of sat on the floor with her while she did that. And it seems like she's settling in. There aren't too many like new things that are like happening, and like she's already gotten used to like doors opening and closing and like the dishwasher and
She's
things
gotten
like
used to
that.
that?
It's no, I think my friend like didn't have a dishwasher, so like that was like a surprise to her.
Oh, yeah, that machine, the sound.
Yeah, but she's settling in. So yeah, we'll have her for a few weeks, and then
Oh, wow, that's a long time for a cat.
yeah, it's because so my friend, the like vet that she had Mango vaccinated at was like a mom and pop kind of vet's office, and so they closed actually in the fall and didn't tell her. So she's having trouble getting like Mango's been like vaccinated for like rabies and all this stuff, but she's having trouble getting like Mango's like records.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so she can't go to Germany until she has that. So like the options, like she's gonna try for a few more days to see if that can happen, and if not, then I think we'll just have to get Mango vaccinated
Now,
again.
how is she travel okay, so you know I love this types.
Yes,
So
yeah.
how is she getting Mango to Germany?
So that's yeah, we're still figuring that out. I think what might happen is that like she will
Oh,
pay
look, someone just
for.
joined us from Germany.
Oh, hello from
Maybe you could
Stuttgart.
help us with that because you don't wanna put them underneath the plane.
No, yeah, that's like my friend is absolutely not doing that. I
Mm-mm.
think what will probably
Hello,
happen is
George.
that my friend will like pay for either like my ticket or like a someone else's ticket to like take Mango to Germany on a plane. So she's like above like in the carrier. Cause yeah, no, I would I and I know my friend would never want to send a
That's
pet.
nightmare stories.
Yeah, it's really awful. So yeah, I think in a few weeks, someone will be getting on a plane to take Mango to Germany, which is exciting.
Aw,
Yeah, it'll be really nice.
Mango.
I
Hello,
know she's
George
so
from
cute.
Stuttgart, Germany. You were here
Hello.
last week. I think I remember that now. I was like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think you came in at like the very end.
yeah, so welcome. Thank you for joining us." My hair is a little crazy. I look like Kramer right now. But my god, good luck with Mango. Yeah, some things to keep in mind. They do like the confines of a box and anything
Yeah.
of the owner. Like, did they give you clothes?
Yes, we took some clothes, my friend, so like it has like her scent on
Yeah,
it.
mhm,
So like
good.
Mango can like smell that and not like be afraid. Yeah, and then we also Sophie actually just came back up from our package room with some boxes. So I think we're gonna like take whatever things are out of there and just let Mango play in
Yeah, they
them.
love boxes. Especially when it's a new space. The
Mhm.
smaller the space that you confine them to is better.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
cat Billy would not do what Mango is doing. Billy was like,
really.
oh, Billy was crazy. Billy would jump on the wall, hide under the bed for weeks.
Oh, wow.
Would not outside of my home. Billy was like not used to, wouldn't do well, and anyone else climbed my friend's door
Oh, wow.
and it was just screaming, you know.
Oh,
But
no.
yeah, so my cat was like that. So I know it's hard. It's hard when you have to take care of a pet. It's really difficult. I saw Tom Papa put on his Instagram. He goes, it's like he has kids, and he says the pet is the only thing that we take care of full time. He put it this way. He goes, the pet is the dumbest thing in the house, and we take care of the pet the
Yeah.
most. It gets the most attention. You know, over the
Yeah.
holidays with my sister, I got, you know, her dog, Rosie. I got
Mm.
a coat and
Aw,
little boots for the feet to
that's so
walk in the
cute.
when it's cold. It was so cold, and I'm like, if it's cold for you, it's cold for their little feet. Their feet have no
Yeah.
protection, so you got to put. You know, a lot of people. You know, what's funny on the Nextdoor app. You
Oh,
ever
yeah, yeah.
there's nonstop complaints about people and their treatment of their pets.
Oh, really?
I love these. I just watch them. It's my part-time fun.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Just like
I
watching the
don't
drama.
I'm not on Nextdoor, but yeah, like, I can imagine. It's really exciting and fun to watch people argue over things like that.
So George is asking, why would you want to bring Mango into Germany? You can buy them over here. It's a friend's pet,
Yeah, it's a
so
cat.
that's why.
I'm not sure what kind of cat, but she's very pretty. She has like very like yellow, gorgeous yellow eyes and stripes. So I don't know much about cats. My I grew up with a dog, and Sophie, my girlfriend, grew up with cats. So she's kind of taking the lead on all things. And also, it's interesting because like I know the body language of dogs, but I really don't know like cats' body language.
Tiptoe
So
around them.
yeah, so it's, like, funny, like, Mango will, like, roll over and, like, show her belly, and Sophie's like, "Yeah, she's showing that, like, she's, like, comfortable with you, but she, like, doesn't actually want you to, like, touch her, like, tummy," which with, like, a dog, that's, like, absolutely what they want you to do. So, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, they have. Oh gosh, I'm sorry I wasn't here for that part. That's why I was. That's okay, George. But yeah, the cats have sensitive areas
Yeah.
of where you can and cannot touch them. So,
Mm.
you know, you just they're in charge. You can do
Yeah.
you can think you're in charge, but you ain't. The cat is in charge. So the
Yeah,
cat will,
absolutely.
you know, get used to you, will come around you and probably will rub against you and let you
Yeah, yeah,
know, and then you could find the area. All cats are different though.
yeah.
Hey, Eric Prince. Hey,
Oh,
DJ. I watched DJ Eric Prince last week on his live stream on
ooh,
Twitch.
very fun.
You should put your Twitch in the chat here, Eric, so people can follow you because it was fun. I
That
was
sounds
playing
very fun.
Fortnite and listening at the same time.
That's great.
Yeah, it was fun. Um, but you know, as Eric, you no talking on those things. No, I'm joking. It's funny because DJs love. I know they want to talk, but sometimes you're like, "Oh my god, what are you? I want to dance. I want to dance." And Eric, you know, you are funny, so I see you trying to get it in and everything. I see you. Um,
Fun.
so we may have a visitor today on the live stream. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Outside of Juskow. Juskow's going to be in full work mode today, so he will be
Oh,
on, but we don't know exactly how that will go for him. But
yeah.
if you're just joining us for the first time, this is the live stream for the Friends Like Us podcast. We like to talk about the podcast, what episodes we've had before and the ones that are coming. And it's also to promote it and let you know to go and check us out. You can see that it's scrolling underneath right here. You look, see right there. You see
Yep.
that? Yeah. And this is Evelyn Frick. I forgot to do that. Evelyn. And
Hello.
I am Marina Franklin, and we're here. We do this every Saturday if I'm not on the road. So Subscribe to my YouTube page. That's the best place where to watch this. But we're streaming to you live on Facebook, Twitch, Patreon, all those things. And by the way, if you want to support the podcast, go to Patreon and help us out because we don't have any ads yet.
Ooh.
Yet.
That's exciting.
So, yeah. I was at the Ari Cleveland. Hello.
Hello. I don't think I've seen this person before.
I find Ari is a new assistant to Friends Like Us. New, just recently hired. I have to introduce her to the other one. I find the more you ignore a cat, the more they like you. That is very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Ari is very smart, and she goes to I forget, I think it's an Ivy League school. Is it now? Yes. I believe I remember. I want to say Brown. My memory is so bad, so apologize. But Ari is here to help us out and answer any questions or clear us up if we get things wrong. You know, the topic that I saw this morning and the topic that's been going around, not Joe Biden. Oh, yes, it is Brown.
Oh, exciting. That's cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's Ivy League. Scooby Doofus is here. I haven't seen you. Scooby Doofus says, my kitties have always loved my attention. So that's cool. And the thing that I see going around that's viral is about gas stoves.
Yeah.
How dangerous. Has that made you nervous? Like,
it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like so funny because to me anyway, like because my girlfriend, like her area of work is like in the energy sector. She studies in college and her master's, she studies cities. So like I remember the other day, I was like, have you seen this discourse about gas stoves? And she's like, what are you talking, like this has been something that like in the urbanist community they've been talking about forever. So it's very funny that like it's mainstream discourse now. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes me a little nervous, but at the same time it's like they're so like just living in an American city, there are so many toxic things. Also living in a building that was, I think my building is just slightly post-war, so it's old.
New York, all gas stoves.
It's all gas stoves. There's just like rats and rat poison everywhere. Like it's at the one hand, yeah. So like, I mean, it does make me nervous, but also like I just don't see myself. Like I don't know that there's anything I can do about it. I do think like we will eventually have to stop using gas stoves because they use fossil fuels, and we just can't. We will come to a point where you just can't use them anymore. But I do think it's funny that conservatives have very much politicized the point.
I
Where
know.
they're like, it's not bad for you. Like, I'm going to turn on all 5 of my gas stoves and all this stuff. And it's like, you can like say that like you prefer fossil fuels and don't believe in climate change, whatever. Even though that's also true, but like it is objectively bad for you. Like it leads to like more asthma.
It leads to more asthma, which in the Bronx and Brooklyn and in areas where people are, struggling, you have the most high rates of asthma, and it's also killing you slowly, Joe. So Joseph, hello. That's what it is. They're saying that it's like kind of like toxic fumes that are being released over time. And I think it also can affect your mental state.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Your memory loss, which I mean, that's weed for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric Prince, for saying that. Yeah. That is this Joseph? My family Joseph? So Scooby Doofus says, I'd rather risk death from a gas or explosion than dying from exposure. Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I don't know, it's also I think, like, there are other, like, ways, like, using, like, heat pumps and, like, induction, technology to create heat. So it's, like, it's not the, like, only way to power stoves, and such. I do know there are some people who are kind of like, they're like, "I don't like electric stoves, like, I prefer gas," which, like, Okay.
Most chefs don't like electric
Yeah.
stoves, and but there's an article in the New York Times where it says, how much should you worry? And it says it can be pretty involved to get it fixed and expensive. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure the payoff is there for a lot of people. This was said by Liam McCabe, a journalist at the Energy Advising Guide Energy Sage, who writes often about his own efforts
Oh, wow.
to upgrade his home. There's only like 3% of the population that has actually gone live that actually has this. So I worry
Yeah.
about the electric fires.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about actually, but I fear because I know like we're going in such a way with electric cars and everything, electric batteries. I guess that's a
Yeah.
whole different thing. But I do worry about like the precautions for anything electric if we're factoring in everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I don't think there's a form of energy besides, like, maybe, like, solar or wind that, like, there aren't drawbacks to, or I guess, like, main, like, energy sources. Like, for example, like, a lot of I think Europe is kind of going back to nuclear energy, which, like, I think that's a terrible idea. I understand, like, with Russia, that's, like, an issue, but
It is
you
harder
know,
to light a J.
it's true, yeah, takes a lot
Well,
longer.
before we continue any more of this intellectual conversation, we're going to add someone to
Yeah,
de-intellectualize
we're
it.
gonna dumb it down a little.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
David
I can't handle
Juskow.
it. Why is Evelyn on the left side today? What is okay? What's going on? Wouldn't you want to be more prominent since it's almost Martin Luther King Day?
I was
Hey-o!
going to mention it, but I figured, since you're so
Oh,
politically correct,
thank God.
you would like
So
to.
much
It's
better.
you know what I love about you mentioning the Martin Luther King weekend is everybody this week in every article they're like the long weekend.
Yeah.
They never say that for any other holiday. Do they say the long weekend?
No, they
Yeah.
usually say, like,
Say it for
Memorial Day
President's Day.
weekend or,
Yeah, and
like
Memorial Day.
they,
Don't
like,
they
say
say
what
it
the
for all
holiday
those
is.
Monday holidays? The
But
hell are you
They say
talking about?
they stress long weekend. They don't stress we're celebrating Martin Luther King Day.
No one ever says that.
Right.
Right. But they don't say that about anything else either.
The long
I agree that nobody's mentioned that it's MLK. They've only
they've
mentioned,
stopped.
we got a day off and it's a holiday. But that's good because then it's just like any other holiday. I think that's a good thing. Remember when it first started, like we were alive when MLK Day,
It
when
was
we were in
on
school, there was no
TV.
such thing, right? And so when they started it, a lot of the offices had they were they didn't have to take off. And a lot of offices
That's
I
right.
worked
I
at
worked
would
in one.
not, as a like almost fuck you, like you can't make us take off. And then of course, people were like, you're gonna do this?
I was a
Uh
receptionist at a consulting firm, and I used to just look at everyone angry.
why wouldn't you?
Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
In
funny.
fact, I remember actually when Howard Stern moved to Sirius, his first day was MLK Day. And everybody's like, why are you doing this? Why are you making your first day on a holiday, let alone this holiday, as if you don't the guy's off every day. He's off all the time, but he chose that day to start his career at Sirius. It was very odd.
Well, there's some quotes that I have that were sort of whitewashed.
Are you wearing a bulletproof vest?
No, what
Oh,
what I'm doing
sorry.
is I wanted to show sort of like sorry that this is our friend Rachel Feinstein's brother's artwork underneath.
Oh, cool.
I got his t-shirt. He sells it as a t-shirt. You
What
see
an
that?
idiot that kid is.
Justin Feinstein.
Juskow Feinstein?
No, Justin. Get his t-shirts. Look at that. It says hope. Okay.
Nice.
It doesn't say Pope?
No. Shut your mouth. So
Yes,
here
ma'am.
we go. These are the quotes that have not been popularized by Martin Luther King because, white people get uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And the first word is, "Hey, whites."
I'm already
No,
uncomfortable.
actually, it's, "Hey, you hunky."
It's still my favorite.
It must be frankly
Dead
be said.
honky.
Hey, hunky. It must frankly be said are not putting it in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves. That your hunkies ain't educating themselves out of their racial ignorance. It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that white people of America believe they have so little to learn. The point of not even celebrating Martin Luther King Day that we just made. The reality of substantial investment to assist Negroes in the 20th century adjusting to, Negro neighbors and genuine school
I'm
integration.
uncomfortable with the word Negro.
I know, is still a nightmare for all too many white Americans. These are the deepest causes for contemporary abrasions between the races. Loose and easy language about equality. Resonant resolutions about brotherhood fall pleasantly on the ear, but for the black person, there is an there
And
is
it's all because of this horrible Negro.
but for the black person, there is a credibility gap he cannot overlook. He remembers that with each modest advance, the white population promptly raises the argument that that blacks has come far enough. That's enough. That's enough. Each step forward accents an ever-present tendency to backlash. And that is very true as we see today, because we even talked about the Senate and what's going on in the House, and how right now, the middle class and lower middle class are really doing better with the legislation that's going on. It's the Republicans fighting for these rich people, this thing that they want to do to what is it, the IRS,
Oh,
the
yeah.
taxes. They just want to give back to the rich. I don't have the words for it. You could put it better than I did, Evelyn.
I generally know what you're talking about. I was so caught up in what was happening with Kevin McCarthy that I haven't paid attention to a lot of the legislation that's been going through Congress at the moment. But yeah, I think they're probably, I would assume that Republicans are trying to tax more on the middle and lower class.
Why would they do that?
Because they still believe in trickle-down economics, which
Yes.
does not work. So it doesn't surprise me. But
Hey, Freddie from South Africa.
Hi, Freddie.
I hope
What's
you listen to
CRT? DJ Eric Prince said.
critical race theory.
Before you say that,
What
I just want to say this to Freddie because this is the first time I've seen you here. Make sure to listen to Friends Like Us. We have an episode with David Cow from South Africa.
Juskow.
Shut up. His first time being on here. So I want you to know there's an episode of Friends Like Us with David Cow.
Juskow.
And it is an amazing episode where he actually talks about why you cannot let something like Kanye slip by. Because
that's what I said.
Because can you let me talk?
No, because you're talking about David Juskow and it's so.
Because here's the thing. In South Africa, the guy who created apartheid studied Hitler.
Yeah.
And he actually figured out that what Hitler did was not enough. Was not because he killed people.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the guy from apartheid, he said, what you want to do is you want to put them in small spaces, projects.
Yeah.
Those little, homes. And then it's a great episode. So I hope you listen to it. It's just so good the way he explains it. And I hope you know the comedian, David Cow. He does a show called Blacks Only in South Africa.
I do that same show.
What show?
Blacks Only.
So so much fun doing that.
It is. It's really satisfying.
So anyway,
that's my viewpoint on that thing.
But the CRT, he was talking critical race theory. That's what CRT is. Yes, critical check it out, Freddie.
I never heard
check
of that.
it out. And Freddie, you could check it out. That Linktree that's scrolling beneath. I'll write it in the chat. That is where you could get all
Freddie,
the
my love. Freddie, my love.
that's where you could get all the links. That I'm gonna keep doing that to you, Juskow. Right here. I'm gonna treat him like Lois. He gets hurt because Lois won't talk to him ever again.
This is true.
That Linktree that I just sent in the chat, that should be coming up soon. That shows you all the platforms where you can listen to the podcast.
It's not my fault Lois won't talk to me again.
It is your fault because
It
look,
wasn't my
this
fault.
is you're proving it right now.
Yeah, but this is
Shut your
hilarious.
trap. Most white people don't know about CRT.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Or they're so misinformed about it because like Fox News and all the
I'm
other
what they
conservative.
call a low information voter.
But yeah, it's Fox News has made it this like boogeyman when it's actually it's important and helpful, and you should know the sociology and the history of how white supremacy operates is essentially what a lot of critical race theory is about. And to your point, Marina, about those quotations from MLK not being popularized in the same way that, like the I Have a Dream speech, like things like that, is because like his quotations where he actually criticizes white people are less palatable to white people, and white people would rather remember MLK as like this. He's a very important figure, obviously, but they strip down all the parts of him that they don't like. And it's why also white people pit MLK and Malcolm X against one another. They're like, MLK is the way you should do it, and Malcolm X is bad. When in fact they're both very important figures.
And while we're at it,
I only know about him from damn it.
I was able to find this hilarious moment. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Wait, hold on.
Hopefully not.
Wait, hold on. Let me do it again.
I only know about MLK from the movie Coming to America. The guys from the barbershop talk about him. You never met Dr. King.
So here is.
Yes,
Though we choose between reality and madness.
Oh, it's buffering.
It's either sadness or euphoria.
Fortunately, it's not working.
Yeah, even the computer doesn't want it. It's what it is. It's a really huge file.
I know that's what the problem with the phones are. They're such. I mean, they're crystal clear and beautiful, but they're such large files. I can't send 2 to my own email from my phone, especially the Android's even worse.
Yeah, so that's why it's so hard, because it's just such a huge file.
Though we choose between reality and madness, it's either sadness or euphoria.
Shut up, DJ.
He didn't sound bad.
Oh, that's kind of you. That's really kind. Well, that is high praise.
Wait, one more.
Though we choose between reality and madness, it's either sadness or euphoria.
Thank you, Ari.
Well, it is New Year's, and they made me wear that hat, but I chose my outfit, so there's nothing I can say about that.
Ari
I chose to make that dance during the instrumental.
Ari is our new assistant. Thank you. Good timing. Good.
Evelyn, what did you do for New Year's?
I just kind of stayed in. I'm not like a big, New Year's Eve party person, so I just stayed in, and my girlfriend and I watched When Harry Met Sally, because that has a lot of New Year's Eve
that movie
content.
blows.
Oh, it's so good.
By the way, I saw Orphan First Kill last night.
Yeah, I saw it. It's good, isn't it?
It's good.
You didn't think it was good?
I didn't think it was gonna be like I liked the first one, but I was like, this is gonna be stupid, and then it turned out to be kind of interesting, right?
Oh yeah. Well, you didn't see the first one?
I did.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I it was a nice twist that I didn't see coming.
Are you gonna see Megan? I
Yes, I
actually
cannot
really want to
wait.
see it.
I might even go on Monday.
Megan looks really good.
That looks
It
fantastic.
looks very
That's gonna make a
good.
fortune.
I love horror. And I'm
And it
also,
already looks
I
so
feel like
camp.
they named her Megan after Megan.
Interesting.
I was like, it
Megan
just
the
feels like
singer?
such a joke. No, the princess. I mean, the one who married Harry.
Oh, nah.
It just feels like such an inside joke. Let's name her Megan.
Yeah, I think that's a coincidence. I don't know. But
You
isn't
think
she
so?
horrible? She's just the I mean, what she's done to this poor guy Harry, and I mean, is a book necessary after you make a Netflix special as well? Is
So
it
here's the thing. Here's
Yeah.
my theory.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's so easy for most people to not like her because she has a thing. First of all, women want to not like her because she's pretty and she talks
Yeah.
with, sort of like a privilege that I feel like a lot of white women aren't used to seeing black women talk with. So they like to trash Megan because of that. That's one. And I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna set my new guest up, who's a surprise guest here to talk about what Juskow just said about how awful Megan is with Harry the Prince. Welcome everyone,
Hi.
Yamaneika.
What a pleasure.
Now, I was just defending Megan with Harry. See, because my theory about that whole thing is the reason they're doing all of this is because the press already puts their business. If you have someone putting your business out there all the time, at some point you're gonna get tired of it and you want to defend yourself. Not to mention this is a race issue. The way they treat black women is horrible. And so Megan, as a black woman who's beautiful and, carries herself like she's excellent, a lot of people have a problem with that. And here's my other point. Remember, Princess Diana died because of the media, the press. I mean, they actually are murderers. So, and no one ever held them accountable for that. So I feel like the best thing you can do is put out information because you're talking about a potential murder that was about to happen again. Anyway, go ahead, Yamaneika.
Well, first of all, hello, Evelyn. How you doing, baby?
I'm good. How are you? It's good to see you.
Great to see you as well. Juskow, great to see you. I'm sure you had a lot of shenanigans to say. If I had been here, I could have, so I'll just make a broad general point. Thank you, Marina, for having me. Obviously, I'm home on a Saturday, cleaning up and on antidepressants. I'm living my life like a white woman. The thing with with Megan and them is, because we don't speak about race, because whenever black people introduce race as a part of the conversation that we're having in regards to us being disparaged, and because white people continue to gaslight us, right? And white people believe that because they have hardships or they've experienced people hating on them, shitting on them, losing jobs, not having money and work, that somehow they have the same understanding of what it means to be in black skin because they have hardships. Not understanding that black people, or understanding, but more so gaslighting black people, that not only do black people have the same hardships that everybody else will have or could possibly have going through this life as a human being, we also have the double down of racism on top of all of that. So in the ways in which we watch Princess Diana be sort of loved and appreciated, but more vilified by the monarch itself, but loved and adored by the people, is because she was a blonde white woman and everybody wanted her to win and she wanted to be the hero. She would be the hero in any Lifetime movie. Megan is a black woman. Not only are black people disrespected, my conversation around black women is always centered around because black men also disrespect black women. Everybody else feels as if they can disregard and disparage black women. White women get a sort of protection from white men, even though white men do murder white women as well. And especially if they don't get their direct deposit hit on time, they will kill everybody.
Oh,
That's
shit.
my grandmother used to say, "Don't when you marry a white man, if he don't get paid by 9:30 on Friday, leave." So I'm not acting as if, because that's also a conversation I get. Well, white men kill black women too. Yeah, absolutely. But white women are very protective about the images of white women when it comes to everyone else. So when we had determined that there's a white woman in this world that's a maybe not the majority of white women, but enough to exasperate us, and we labeled her as Karen. Then we had all these outreach programs where don't call me a Karen, calling me a Karen is the N-word. And white men were also facilitating and helping with white women speak their mind about how they felt that they were being torn down. Black women don't have that. We get attacked from everyone. Also, if you watch, there was something Megan had said that I thought was very interesting. She said it was the first time she'd ever really experienced racism or understanding who she was when she went over to England. Because number one, that's where they sort of cultivate and refine racism. We have to deal with the hee-haw hillbilly trash here that's sort of uneducated, emotional. And in England, they really think out their racism to really stick it through. And what I'll say to you is, because Megan was living in the protection of a hierarchy of racism here in America, where at the bottom is a Black woman with dark skin, broad nose, big lips, and at the hierarchy of women is blonde, white, narrow nose, thin lip, whatever, she was in a place where she could sort of, I don't 100% believe her when she said she didn't feel racism.
Right. I didn't either. Yeah.
But I do know that there's a way in which you can come into the Black community and be over Black women as a lighter, fair-skinned woman. This is why
should acknowledge
right.
And she didn't. Yeah.
Right. She might not be seeing it in the realm in which she was in, because maybe she ran around with niggas as color struck. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is why unattractive white women go into the Black community to get Black men, because they know that Black men will always put a white woman, because Black men have to get under their understanding of that they're under mental trauma, that they're under a lot of duress and they're all these things, right? And acknowledge that your propensity to go towards whiteness is because you are trying to get something, right? You are trying to hold something or get something or have access to what white men have. And because of that focus on what white men have, the focus is never the other way into what you can build on your own. So we have unattractive white women all the time coming into the Black community. I mean, there's attractive white women that come into the Black community as well. But we have the unattractive white woman that cannot be taken care of in the white community, because white men are like, oh, you ugly bitch, can always find a place to come into the Black community and be over all Black women just because of the color of her skin. So I think it's very interesting that Megan is now really seeing racism. And she wants to speak on it, but she has to remember not everybody wants to hear it, because people by and large like Black women to be seen and not heard.
Amen. They're all like commenting on how Juskow is actually paying attention to you now, Yamaneika, because he doesn't pay attention to me. He doesn't listen.
Oh, he doesn't?
Sometimes he acts up. Why is my Wi-Fi acting weird?
That's where I usually give her shit about. Your Wi-Fi stinks.
What was can you give me like a little brief thing, Juskow? What was your take on this, all of this stuff?
I just can't figure out. I mean, the problem I had with Megan was that recently when she was complaining about being on Deal or No Deal, and she's like, oh, they treated us like bimbos. But I'm like, that's, you before she was known, she's a model going in on a job, and that was the job. You can't complain about it now.
But see, Juskow, that's you. I want you to know subconsciously, and I love you, right? But I'm about to really break you down. Subconsciously, whenever Black people, and especially Black women, have any type of complaint, because we are not allowed to complain and because people think we should be grateful for whatever we get, there's this sort of attitude of like, who are you to complain about? You're just a model. You're just a this. Do you know how many of these ragamatag bitches in the Monarch have absolutely no background in working at all, have been taking care of their entire lives, and they complain about the simplest things, from I don't like the way the croissant is crusting to why isn't my nanny in front of me right now with my children? So we have to be very conscious that we don't like it when Black women have any, or black people at all, have any type of complaints. That's why you can't even understand what we keep complaining about you guys killing us through the police. What are they complaining about? Because you have to have some empathy. Unfortunately, black people are under the rule of white people's narcissistic personality disorder. Racism, the subconscious, even if you're not racist as a white person, and like we got to really dig deep, right? Because there was a time in this country when white was a very specific thing. White wasn't Italian, white wasn't Jewish, it wasn't all these things with people who had white skin. And then when white decided that they wanted to bring all these other cultures in and make it white, so that the idea and concept of white was broader and that the idea and concept of brown and black was smaller, then everybody who would have been treated like a nigga for real, who's not being treated like a nigga anymore, became very uppity about where they were and what their perspective was on life. Never forget, not everything here was white at one time. They still make fun and hurt and threaten and do a lot of shit to Jewish people, but they calm it in a different way because they know they can't come for Jewish people the same way they come for black people who have been trying to build themselves, build their community, get off our backs, get off the oppression, the 200 years we've been behind everybody else, the discrimination we face every single day, the racism, it's everywhere. That is a hard thing to overcome.
You know, let me make this point. We were talking about Bernie Madoff last week and the documentary. Do you know all the people, about 80% of those people who lost their money through that Madoff scam or Ponzi scheme got their money back?
They did?
I didn't know that.
I watched it on MSNBC.
If that's true, how come the Mets sucked for so long?
Well, here's my point. Here's my point.
Kevin Bacon never got his money back.
You know, see, this is what I'm talking about, Yamaneika.
No, go ahead. I want to hear your point.
What point is that?
Over there, and I will sit my black lips on his face, and he don't know which lips I'm talking about. So continue.
But do you understand that black people, they never give us our money back? They have never paid us anything.
And who was what's his name? Jerry. The football guy that had ran that welfare scam, the food stamp scam or some welfare scam.
Oh, was that Brett Favre?
Was it Brett Favre? I thought it was some and he was like, and they've done nothing. There is a constant double standard. And when people don't want to, that's why I listen. Marina knows me, Dave knows me. Listen,
Nick says it is Brett Favre.
It is. Let me tell you something. People know I have been what has been called militant for a long time. And I got to see racism very early on because I was in an environment where there was only white people. And in that environment, white people will show you who they think is a nigga. White people are not above reproach. We do not talk about how toxic white people can be, how toxic racism is, and how much mental trauma a person can go through being around a sea of white people and their passive aggressiveness, their microaggressions, and their inability to have any type of empathy for people who are not like them. Not all, but most.
The thing is when we're talking about reparations, I mean, we can't even get like,
you're not going to get reparations, Marina.
What I'm saying is like, look how hard they fought to get how much money back. 96, Erica said 96% of billions of dollars.
Oh, Marina, how are they going to get the money back? How are they going to get it back? They're going to ask for it, right?
They found a way to get it back.
How are we going to get it back? That's what I'm
saying.
No, but we asking for it, right? We
got to stop asking. We just got to take that shit. Oh, here's my Ari put U.S. attorney announces total distribution of over $4 billion to victims of Madoff Ponzi.
I didn't know that.
$4 billion. Yes.
Jeez,
so when they want to take care, because you know those weren't all brown people. Okay, black people, but those are people who had money.
Yeah,
there were very few black.
They were already millionaires.
Yes,
right. But see how Juskow now is going. That's not fair.
Right.
Juskow and needs something that he can relate to. I'm using you as an example, Juskow, because it's more than just you.
I don't mind.
Now that when you and I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination he's poor, but what I'm saying is he ain't got billions of dollars. So now we all in the same category because none of us have billions of dollars here, and all of us have been disadvantaged financially at some point, and we go, that's unfair. So when we can align on certain things together, we can grow. But unless people find empathy in the thing, you just kind of move on. And you can't, there's nothing we're going to be able to do. There's the conversation is too deep. There's too many wounds in the Black community. You would need the Black community to have cohesiveness for us to get together and start to do the things that we need to do and demand the things that we need to demand. But because we don't, we won't.
And the only reason I'm starting to see a lot of it, and I'm in my 50s, right, is because I've just started to do investments, stocks. So I'm starting to see the disadvantage, like in a real monetary way. And I'm also starting to see that the information was intentionally held from a community that could learn how to invest their money. The predatory lending set generations of Black folks back far, and no one gave those people money back. No one said, hey, we made you lose your home. We knew we sold you these awful loans. We knew you couldn't pay for this home. We still gave you this awful loan. The banks got away with that. No one fought for that. The U.S. attorneys didn't do. We don't see any conversation about how much money they gave back to these. These are victims. These people, these families, generations of Black folks are victims. But you don't discuss them like they're victims.
Nobody cares, Marina. And that's the problem. Nobody cares, right? It's like you go through a breakup, right? You break up with someone and you so sad and you just need everybody to just please, because somebody love me, hug me, talk to me. And after a while, people go, okay. But then they got to go on with their lives. These Black people were disparaged. Did we collectively get together and do anything? No, we did not.
Well, there were not collectively. There were groups, but we're all scattered.
It's still very scattered. Listen, somebody said people cannot heal in the land where they were oppressed. So when we talk about Jewish people and they were oppressed in Germany and destroyed there, and then they left their land of oppression to go somewhere else where they could have some freedom to build some space away from the people who were oppressing them, there was an ability to thrive. We're trying to like put a tattoo over a wound. It's too festering. The commerce on Black people being disadvantaged and undermined, it is an export and it is also an import. America does not run on Duncan. America runs on racism. And the reason why America has to run on racism is because when we sit here and spend all this time talking about what white people got versus what Black people got, and then you got Juskow in the middle down there looking around. And
then I had Noam just send this to me just to remind me why do rich people... Noam just says, why do rich people love the quiet? He's trying to call me a rich person. That's asshole. Listen, but what I'm saying with Marina, we can't, because the real problem, right? The real enemy is classism, right? The real or money, right? Right, yeah. And as long as we keep fighting here, we never talk about the money. So that's why there's no reason for so many uneducated, poor white people to be living just as well or as good as Black people who are in the middle class, other than the fact that they get access to things so that they can continue to be a thorn in the side of Black people, while the people who are part of the upper echelon, the 1% that we were all fighting, which P.S., that's not even all white. That's a lot of brown in that 5%. That's right. Yeah. From other places, oil and all this other shit, natural resources that we should all be owning, but somehow somebody making $1 billion off a natural resource. Right. While we're fighting here, they keep getting richer. So I decided, because I'm in my 40s, you ain't gonna be the only one throwing around ages and ARP cards around here. We can only live our life the best that we can.
We don't, that shit kind of shit is for the young. And it's not that you're not young at 40 or 50 still, but we're at a point where we gotta just enjoy, like, let these young kids worry about this shit. And I'm gonna worry about making sure the rest of my life is happy, because I already was on the cross with these niggas as it is. I'm tired. I want to go to Target. I want to go get yarn. I want to knit. I want to go on a vacation, you know, with some quiet. I want to do older people shit. Let these young people hold up the bloodstained banner. I'm not in it anymore.
I want to remind you all, thank you so much, Yamaneika. I'm so glad you joined us today. I want to just share this
these
post.
Students, these researchers conducted observations in both treatment sites, so barbershops that, you know, have the barbershop books program, and also control sites, so barbershops that did not have our program. And what they found was that, you know, Black boys were more likely to be observed reading than doing any other activity in the barbershop, including playing on a mobile device, watching TV, talking, a lot of those different things. And so that was really exciting, because, as you know, in 2022, at any given moment, there's a lot of other things that any child could be doing other than reading. And so the fact that we kind of were able to create conditions in barbershops that kind of led boys to be more likely to read in barbershops than doing anything else was really positive and important. Also, they found that, you know, Black boys were more likely to be observed reading independently than reading with a sibling, with a parent, or with a barber. So, you know, not only are they reading, but they're kind of reading, you know, by themselves, whether someone's kind of making them read or asking them to read. And so that was encouraging. Then the last kind of key finding from her interim report was that Black boys in our participating barbershops were more likely to identify as readers. These students.
So I just wanted to share that.
Who the hell is going into barbershops asking little boys what they're doing? It doesn't matter if Black boys.
What did you say? Say that again.
It doesn't make it matter if little Black boys in barbershop are reading or not reading. They need to get a damn haircut. So, you know,
he found that it was.
I was going to question that too.
I didn't really set it up right, but he started a way of, because he's an educator and he used to get his hair cut in Harlem at this one location all the time. And one of his students was in there, and he noticed the mom was telling him to be still and do all this. And she was yelling at him, and he knows the kid. He was one of his students. And he was like, what would keep these kids, you know, instead of yelling at him in the barbershop, let's put some books in the barbershop. You do a lot of things in the barbershop. You have political conversations in the bar. You can also educate in the barbershop. So Beyonce loved this idea too. She like advocated and promoted barbershop books. So this is just a good place to start, where you can start identifying or having young kids identify as readers. And this is an episode. This is the episode that is the reason I put this up too. Is this is the episode of the podcast that is currently out right now. If you want to hear more of that conversation, please go to the Linktree /MarinaYFranklin. Okay.
Well, you know, you can't step on no episodes that's currently out with Marina, so I'll step lightly with this. She's also selling books for barbershop books. So what I'm saying is, I made that point to make this. Yeah, nobody. We gotta get, as Black people, stop being shocked when Black people are doing certain things. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's white people shocked, little Black boys. We should not be shocked.
Well, we're not, but he had to get what it was he wanted to get scientific data to, you know, because this program is spread throughout. He gets grants and it's spread out from Philadelphia to all these other places. But the real important part that Stace just brought up was, you know, ask kids what they're interested in instead of going from a deficit. So a lot of times we'll attack children, you know, boys or girls, and we say what they can't do in these schools as opposed to what they can do. Like, I remember when I was in school, I was in a tracked system that didn't put me in the level that I was supposed to be in, right? Because they told me I was like, I guess I had attention problems or whatever. So that's what they focused on instead of what I could do. I was lucky to have a teacher that said, she's too smart for this level. She should be in a different level. And I had to talk to my counselor and tell them that.
I thought you were talking about sports.
And my counselor, sometimes I have to, because he be trying to crack jokes. Yamaneika, it'd be corny. I can't. So I just, I just can't.
Mouth right there to swipe his wife. Marina, I can't.
Sometimes I just,
And she puts me in the corner where usually the comments go over too.
yeah, the comments need to go over. But I don't know if you did, there's a whole conversation that you should definitely listen to the podcast on. Anyway.
I mean, I think that's a great, aside from all what I'm saying, it is a great idea to that program in general, just to have like books and, barbershop books and have a focus, but more of us should be doing things like that. More of us should be doing certain outreach, and, there's always a lot more that can be done.
Yes. Now, I think this is a good time. Do you want to do some of the reviews real fast so we can spend some more time with Yamaneika?
Yeah, absolutely. So this first review comes from Apple Podcasts. Just a reminder to leave 5 stars and a review for friends like us on there, and it helps people who don't listen to the podcast find the podcast. So this review is 5 stars. Says, friends like us is always funny and always truthful. This episode was especially thought-provoking. Reading is so important. Love you, Marina.
Aww.
And then this review actually came on Twitter from Bobby Jones. He was responding to a tweet announcing this week's episode with the guests Alvin Irvy and Noye. And he said, this is so exciting. I listen to Friends Like Us every week and I love it. So yeah, those are our reviews for this week.
Nice.
Is that Bobby Jones, a Bobby Jones Gospel Hour on BET?
I'm not sure. I can look into it.
Might be.
Yeah. So that was a really great episode. Yeah. It's a good one. It's just good to start, on a note, I think, in the new year in a positive way, because sometimes it does feel overwhelming. A lot of the disparity, a lot of the things are set against us, but the things we can control, we can do within our own. Like you said, Yamaneika, a lot of us should be doing, starting and being inspired and inspiring to the younger generation. I used to do, believe it or not, I used to do after school. I used to do Readers Theater Workshop. I used to try to read to the kids. Then they gave me teenagers and I couldn't, they wanted to whoop my ass. So I I stopped doing that. Because I only like the little ones. I like the 5-year-olds and the up to about 7 years of age. I'm good. And teenagers, I can't touch teens.
We used to do a program in the summertime at my grandparents' church in Baltimore, Maryland. And the first year we did the summer program, we were so excited about just all the adventures we were going to have, all of the things we were going to learn, the Bible study. We were going to have fun as well. And we realized this from the first day that so many kids, and they were teenagers, a lot of them could not read. And a lot of them were coming there because we were providing lunch. We make about 50 or 60 bag lunches and take them there, and they wanted food, they wanted juices, they wanted snacks. They didn't have an environment where they felt safe. And when I realized some of these kids, they're passing these kids. They're letting these kids go on to 4th and 5th and 6th grade, knowing that they can't read, knowing that there's a disservice and a disadvantage to the kids in Baltimore for sure. And I know that's not unique. There's a lot of other places. So we have to understand that keeping us at the point where we don't have understanding or knowledge or reading and things like that, and promoting, and especially these young Black kids, this sort of like, go be a rapper, go be a ball player, and not enough, hey, you think you want to be a scientist? Look what scientists do. You think you want to be a zoologist, you want to be a biologist, you want to be an accountant. We don't show them enough different sides, and not everybody's going to make it to be a ball player or a rapper. And we're going to be fundamental. So that's why, I've been volunteering. I want to continue to volunteer. It's so important, because if we don't keep an eye on our children, especially our children of color, nobody else is. They don't care about them.
Yeah, that's so important. My girlfriend's mom is a reading teacher in Minneapolis. And like, I think students who in an elementary school and students who I think are in like third or fourth grade now, a lot of them are really struggling with reading because they're the class who their education was most disrupted because of COVID.
Right. It's
So
really bad.
they're getting to like third and fourth grade. And, you know, these teachers some of them are doing the best that they can. And there are others who, you know, are passing over these
Right.
students. But yeah, they're just, these students are really struggling. So I think having other places where they can see how much reading is important is really necessary, even now more than ever.
And we talked about in the podcast, I mean, as far as like moving forward too fast is one issue, but also the focus on brown kids or black kids in class, they are treated as if they're not going to do well. So a lot of times they don't move them forward, or they don't listen to them when they are. Like sometimes you're just lucky to have a teacher that actually takes an interest in you. Like I was lucky to have a teacher that goes, Marina, you're way too smart for this system you're in. You're like this tracking, you're way beyond. I never tested well because I had a focusing issue. You know, I always had focus problems. Too much sugar in the school, probably. You know, but I remember being put into like, it was called history thought middle or whatever, and being in that classroom. And I always felt like, oh my God, now I have to prove that I can be in this classroom. You know, the pressures that you put on these kids is also tremendous. So,
It's also social too, because when I was in second grade, I'm a November baby. So, that's always dicey. When do you let them go in now or do you wait? And I went in because I was already in like Head Start. I went to pre-K, I went to kindergarten, and I was moving. And I was really also very smart, hitting all the things. My mother got to a point, and I remember having this conversation with my teacher. Like I wasn't socially developing with the kids that were older than me. And I was having a lot of problems. And my teacher suggested that she keep me in the second grade and let me repeat the second grade because she didn't feel like socially I was connecting with these kids. And it was a lot of isolation. I was having not emotional problems, but I was withdrawing a lot and showing a lot of signs of isolation and depression. And I was very upset about that because I knew I was smarter than these kids behind me. And I knew I was smarter than the kids I was even in because but I was just weird. I don't want to say weird, but you know what I mean? Lack of a better word, weird. But it was such a dynamic thing for me to go and repeat second grade again.
oh, it was.
I went, like I remember like being so depressed and embarrassed that I would have to go back and repeat it. But I had more friends. You know what I mean? I was happier because I felt like I could connect with these kids
Right.
more than I could with these kids who were older than me. So, sometimes a kid has to be maybe the oldest in a pack versus the youngest in a pack. So there's also social things we don't consider. But that I remember my teacher saying to my mother, that was a conversation she was having with a lot of white parents. You know what I mean? Like, don't think about that with Black children, how they're also developing socially in school, because the social aspect of it is also very important.
Absolutely.
They put me in a class that I shouldn't have been in with the smarter kids because I guess I was white. And then they moved me down to level 2 where there was more Black people and I was better off.
I knew you were going to find a way to make it bad about Black people. They put you in that class because you had gray hair at 7 years old.
Absolutely.
Do you know on Thursday, I went to the store and they gave me the senior discount. They didn't even ask me. I swear to God, they're like, and with the senior discount, that comes for $4.20. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Did you take it?
Of course I took it. I'm also Jewish.
Yeah.
I had no choice.
Of course you did.
My people would have been furious. But it was I'm like, oh yes, the senior discount. Thank you. crap.
That ain't nothing but a thing. My mother is so excited and happy. She can't wait to get her senior discount. She already got the place mapped out where she gonna go and get robbed and
I
wine.
feel that way too. But the first time it happens, it's rather jarring. Because if
Yeah.
you're not that old yet for the senior discount, it was just, it's still got about 5 years to go.
Oh, that is jarring. Yes, that is.
The gray
I
hair.
got a few gray hairs trying to pop in there.
Well,
It's
I used to
I
dye
was a kid
mine.
too.
Hmm?
It's fine. Getting older is fine. Like it's fine. Like we all said, we don't know. We've only seen people get older, and we've only seen how they've processed it. But what I find very inspiring is I follow some senior Instagram pages, and the way in which some of these people are moving forward with their life, you don't even think age when you see them. We can
Bevy
either
Smith.
yeah. What about Batty? What's her name? Fuck that white woman. I love her. She's 97. No,
I thought Jennifer Coolidge.
She's like 79 or something like that. But she wears all the whatever the hip hop girls are wearing and stuff like that. She'll take pictures in them. You know what I'm talking about? Batty Winkle. That's her name. Batty Winkle. Yeah. She'll take pictures. It's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It is. It is something I'm starting to accept. Like I did have a tough time turning 50. I'm not gonna lie, and there are some things that are harder that I was like, oh, this is work. Working out is harder. I got bursitis. I can't see.
Do?
I do in my right hip. Yeah. I got it. And I was trying to work out with this Ukrainian dude on Friday. And I was like, listen, should I tell you my age? Because you need to calm the fuck down. Because seriously, I got bursitis. He's like, I don't care about bursitis.
Yeah, but they got a war going on in the Ukraine right now. I don't talk about no damn bursitis.
When I came to the cellar, Esty was like, what's going on with you? I was like, I worked out with this Ukrainian dude. That's why you said, why are you walking funny? Remember you asked me why I was walking all funny? My legs were killing me yesterday. We can't see it, Juskow.
I know. I'm trying to get that Batty Winkle, like she said.
Oh, yeah, Batty Winkle. Yeah, Juskow going to spend some nights alone with them pictures.
She doesn't look that bad.
She looks fine. I mean, listen, we all got an age.
I have to say this, though. Chris Rock came to the cellar last Thursday, and we sat at the table, and I was telling him how I'm single. Now Yamaneika, we can go into a whole conversation about that.
Now,
and I was like saying how I'm happy that I'm single, I'm fine with it, but maybe I should look at the silvers, whatever.
No, yeah.
And he goes, listen, this is what he said. He said they do say that couples live longer. I go, that's a bunch of bullshit. And then he looked at me. He said, you just need that person to look at you and go, hey, your eye blinking a little slow today.
Coupling, but you have to get adjusted that coupling is beautiful. But also we are in a disadvantaged state right now because there's so many places where there's toxic masculinity. There's so many men that have certain perceptions about what it means to be a viable woman.
Yes. And in the meantime,
but because of that deficit, women often get blamed for being single. You get blamed for not having a partner. Oh, you can't get a man. Oh, this and that. And nobody's looking at also, this is where you're swimming to get a man. And this pool is very murky, and there's a lot of fish in here that have mercury poisoning. And so you gotta learn to adjust as a woman to say, I am fine being alone. The days of us being validated because we are wives or mothers has to end. Because men are not being validated based on whether they're husbands or fathers. They're being validated on how much of a man they are. So women need to also do the same. Acknowledge me for the woman that I am and leave it at that.
Yeah. And, Evelyn, I wonder how you listen when you hear like heterosexual conversations. How do you think about it? Like, how do you...
I think my main thought is
it's more like a partner.
Yeah. I think my main thought is I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with men. They
Yes.
yeah, it's I mean, obviously there are like shitty women out there also, but the really like not having to deal with toxic masculinity is really nice. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Yamaneika, and I think there's also like there is something really nice about like, and I say this as you know someone who like lives with my partner. Like, there is something really nice about independence. Like, I think about all the time. Like, I think someone had like asked like Whoopi Goldberg like if she wanted to get married or like have a partner, and her response was like, "I don't want anyone else in my house." Like, and like that, and I think about that a lot. Because it's true. Like, I think like if I weren't with my partner, like I don't like dating is just so no matter like if you're gay, straight, whatever. Like dating sucks, and it's really really stressful. So I think
I prefer to kind of maybe just die that way. If I don't have a mirror in my house, so be it. I'm happy
Yeah.
up until that point.
But you don't have to like it's and also I want to say shout out to everybody. I see the comment sections now. I'm so sorry. It was people. God bless everybody in the comment section who's here, and thank you so much for being here. And Marina's awesome, and you know I've been on Marina stuff. I have to. Is this Friends Like Us now, or what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I don't know.
This is to promote the Friends Like Us. Yes.
Oh, okay. So at some point I'll get back on Friends Like Us. I think the ban might be lifted in a couple months. But, you know, here's what I'll say, right? Is that there's too much, and it's not to disparage men, but I know I can only come from my perspective as a woman, and I can also only tell you what I see. I see too many women, especially women of color, who statistically are the most underrepresented when it comes to relationships and love and things of that nature. And I see too many women of color like that, especially Black women, taking the abuse from society going, there's something wrong with you. There's something that you're doing. You're not sweet enough. You're not nice enough. You're not this. You're not that. And I see Black women, especially Black women in my circle, making adjustments that they don't need to make, because you're still going to make these adjustments and you're still going to get the same type of trash ass man that's out there. Not that every man is trash, but the possibility of you getting a trash ass man is still out there, no matter how much you have changed yourself. Because while women are making these changes, are these men who are toxic making these changes? And that's what I want women to understand, is that you don't change yourself. If whatever you got going on, if your education or the way you speak or who you are is, and you found a place and you're comfortable with that, of course, we don't want to impede on anybody. We don't be a nasty person. We don't want to be a hateful person. We don't be a villainous or a murderous person. But if you are who you are, and that whoever you are and comfortable who you are, and your education or your background or your knowledge is to be like, I am a confident woman and I would like a confident man. I don't want a man that's going to make me feel like I have to belittle myself. I don't want to fit into some type of box. My whole life is not about pleasing you. When we come together as two, we're not coming together as two to be one so that you are still the one we are focused on. We come together as two to become one.
Right.
So that my needs and your needs, and the compromise between sometimes whose needs take precedent over the other, that we work on that and build a foundation. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of guys that want to do that. And unfortunately, there are more women that are seeking partnership than men, because we all know that even the lowest low rent dude out there can find some
Yeah, I'm right here, Yamaneika. That is not cool.
Juskow, you're blinking. Your eye blinking a little slow today.
Juskow can go out there with that salt and pepper hair. You know what I mean? With that, I get a discount free at Applebee's hair. He can go out there with that, you know, got the one button down. I feel like that shirt might be corduroy. That's why I'm able to. And there will be a woman that will look at him and go, I can find something to connect it with him and build. And women are more likely to overlook certain things and compromise to get in a relationship than men that go, nah, she too this and she too that, because sometimes they're looking for this perfect woman. And they think that she's out there, and they conflicate the women that they see through Instagram, the women they see with television, with the women that are actually around them. You ain't around, you know, when I hear some of my male friends complain, I'm like, nigga, you're not around the bitches that get $1 billion to go to Dubai. You
You
a
know,
girl that goes to Costco with go talk to her.
we don't have enough time, but
What? Oh, how rude! Wow.
Where
What
did
did
she
she
go?
say that you hated? I
No,
got to stay, but
she
Yamaneika left.
just
Wow,
left. Or
Marina,
she got.
you are harsh. I
I
thought
didn't
she was
kick her
talking some
out.
very good stuff.
It
I
looks like her
appreciated her.
Wi-Fi just dropped.
Wow, I
She
really thought
got.
she was really. Oh,
What
there she.
happened?
Can you believe she did that to you,
I
Yamaneika?
did
That's
not do that.
amazing.
I would never do that to
He
Yamaneika.
did not
Well,
do that.
maybe.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm also a senior citizen in disguise. 'Cause my old ass went and hit some button that one of the young kids would have never touched, and got myself out of the damn stream. But I came back fast.
Juskow, there are black women that may want you.
I think
Actually,
they do.
Marcus is trying to.
Oh wait, did Juskow say black women wanted him the most? What did he say?
No, I did
Oh,
not say
no,
that.
he didn't say that.
Oh.
Marcus Fuller says the man is still the head of the family. Some black women.
Okay, wait. Do you want to take this, Marina, first, or should I? No, we gotta address
I
this.
would not be the head of my.
You go ahead. You go ahead. I'm here every week. Go ahead, Yamaneika. And then we got to go in like 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, let me make it brief. You know
Marcus Fuller always likes to come in with something.
Yeah, because I know that. I gotta. I'm about to stink up. Let me get my little. Let me because I'm about to stink it up so hard. Now, I grew up under the concept that, or was unspoken, that my grandfather was the head of the household. My grandfather would treat us with love and compassion and kindness. And my grandfather would consult with my grandmother in any decisions that would be. I saw them work together as a collective, making decisions for the family. Because of that, and because of my religious upbringing, I always was under the idea and concept of submitting to your husband as the church submits to Christ, Jesus Christ. Then I got out into the real world and I saw how men would bastardize this concept of being the head of the household, not understanding that when they speak about that in the Bible, that the husband who is the head of the household is supposed to love his wife and love his family more than he loves himself. He's supposed to think about them first, and he's supposed to think about their happiness. Those were the tenements that were in the Bible. And because certain men who have lack power, and unfortunately, we get a lot of black men, but there's a lot of white men too, because I've seen white men get down with this attitude as well. But we see black men sort of take on this idea that when they have a partner, they need somebody that's going to submit to them. But that's because in most places in life, black men don't have anybody submitting to them. They have the power structure is that black men have to submit to white patriarchy, the white monarch that we have here, social and economic disenfranchisement, unemployment. So when they seek out a woman, they want a woman that is under them so that they can feel better about themselves. Unfortunately for black men who are like that, because black women have also gone through the same things black men have gone through in this country, racism, disparage because of racism, and then we get the double down of dealing with sexism as well. A lot of black women have had to take care of themselves. We've had to raise children by ourselves because a lot of the black men who don't have jobs, have no means or any examples of fathers, have no ideas to be fathers. However, we were getting pregnant by these men and then taking on all of the responsibility. Over the course of time, since slavery on up, black women have had to be independent for ourselves. So you see an influx of black women who are highly educated, having secondary, third degrees. You have black women who are independent, owning their own homes because they know they have to take care of themselves financially. You have black women who are entrepreneurs. We see a skyrocket in black women being entrepreneurs, educated, having resources, having funds. So when they try to pair up with men who are not moving on that same trajectory, for whatever reason, I'm not here to disparage black men, those black men look at those women who are up there going, I will never be able to reach her up there. So the only thing I can do is tear her down, beat her down, and tell her that she is not a woman because she will not let me put my foot on her neck. So I tell Black women, if you want to continue to deal with these type of men, you have to succumb to the nonsense that they want from you, letting them run the show, letting a man that has less money than you or less educated, not to say that Black men are always less educated, but these type of men that speak like that, they're normally less educated, don't have any money. They want to find somebody that's going to submit to them. They have no security in the world. They're insecure. They have no one that's going to listen to them. So they want you to be their slave, because when they go out into the world and get their ass kicked and beat by racism day after day, they want to come home and punch down on somebody. I'm not interested in that type of man. And if that means that I have to be single and I'm not chosen, then so be it. And
that's right.
Understand that in 2023, especially Black women, because Black women are always the ones coming there, cheering on for people, being the backbone for people, and we get no reciprocity in that. None. Black women, you have to start loving yourself and take time for yourself and fuck the nonsense and fuck that noise from these niggas from this manosphere shit and these red pill niggas, because they're more detrimental to you than you spending a life being single. Living under a man who is a tyrant and is abusive and is mean and manipulative and angry and vicious to you is more toxic than you being a single woman on your own.
That's
and if
right.
you don't believe me, go on YouTube and go watch Leah Gordon, go watch Black Girl on Lost. Every day there's stories that they can fill up of Black women who have been murdered by their domestic partners. 90% of the time, that is a Black man that has murdered them. It's all over the place. The femicide rate for Black women is through the roof. We don't have time to play around anymore.
Amen. As Marcus was like, preach. So you turned him around?
I don't think I turned him around, but he might have just been saying that to say you be sarcastic or whatever. But I don't listen. You know, Marina, you know how I'm changing. You know, I'm growing up now, unfortunately.
Changing.
You know, and I'm about peace, love, and happiness.
Like when I sing, I get turned out.
No, Marina has a good voice, Juskow. You probably sound like cats.
Well, I think
singing before, and then she just cut me off.
Sing something. Sing something. Look at you, not prepared. Okay, Marina.
Well, we do have to get out. This was fun. This was great. I love. Oh, Marcus.
What?
Oh, Marcus. We
Nobody
don't have
said masculinity. You see, that's gaslighting. Nobody said masculinity is abusive. Nobody said men can be men.
I don't know why anybody would ever go out with a man.
Did you want to talk about men now, Juskow?
I don't know how women would date a man anyway. They are mostly awful. In fact, I think this is the reason I'm single, because I see it in myself sometimes and I feel bad.
What? We just had a breakthrough. Marina, you just had a breakthrough.
I know.
It's a problem.
We need to I'm going to clip this and share it. Anyway, we do have to get out. This was a great fun conversation. It was so, Yamaneika, thank you for stopping by. The ban has officially been lifted.
Thank you.
You know, we've learned a lot. You know, you my sister,
listen, Marina, I do anything.
You know I love you.
Marina and I break up so much and get back together. I don't even pay attention no more. I love Marina so much. Marina's my boo. I really do love Marina. She's so awesome, for real.
So thank you all for joining us today. Evelyn, do you want to tell our viewers where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Evelyn G. Frick, and on my website, evelynfrick.com.
Juskow?
Just Tuesday nights, the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show on YouTube at 6 p.m.
And Yamaneika.
I was going to say something smart. Just find me at Yamaneika on everything.
Oh my God, Dennis, you just joined us at the end. Sorry. We'll join us next week, and you could always view this later on YouTube. Today was a really great live stream, and we do this actually every Saturday unless I'm on the road. So please join us. Come back. All of this, the best way to watch this is on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube page, okay? And also, the reason I do this every week is to promote the podcast Friends Like Us. This episode that we have out currently is with Alvin Irby and Noye Brown West, and we're talking about reading, literacy, the science of reading, and the importance of educating our babies, teaching the babies to read.
Because reading is fundamental.
It is. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe. Don't forget, Black Lives Matter. Bye.
Bye.